Legion. Legion!
Barricade the room. We need to protect the biohazard container.
I hate it. Oh, shit.
Down to 5 seconds.
I'm leaving.
They're Thatcher.
Doing thingy. What's thingy?
Fucking Thatcher. Right on the yellow mark.
Okay.
Other windows blown out as well. Beware on the left.
Op 4 found the biohazard container.
No way that is a thing.
Prevent further access to the biohazard container.
Oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Securing the biohazard container.
User was moved to your channel. Join your channel.
User was moved to your channel.
User was moved to
He's
your
right there.
channel.
Finka's right there.
It fingered.
Wants to get thinking.
Stop scanning her. She knows
I like.
the stairs. Yeah, right there.
All friendlies were eliminated. Mission failure.
User was moved to your channel.
Banana.
Ibana na na na.
Banana. It's all the bananas.
Right, guys, I'm going to punch through the reinforcement. Coming through. That's what it is. Spain's going to be in the game as an attacker, and he's going to be able to rush through a reinforcement like a smasher on thing and.
On a new sledge.
He has to have the time to go mobile.
Well done. Biohazard container located.
And huzzah! Here I am. Fuck, I'm dead.
10 seconds. 5 seconds before insertion. Biohazard container located. Proceed to location.
Yeah, yeah. If you want to move fast and you know you're safe, Six, you can keep the shield on, just flick over to the deagle. It continues his movement speed.
Don't have captain.
Wow.
Stop laughing, Andy.
Was it you?
Yeah!
Why are you so angry? Focus your mind. Quit being such a little bitch.
Continue on to say about the map.
It's such an easy game. You point, and you click. It's not the rate of pointing and clickingness. Yeah, we was on about this earlier, Andy, the pick rates for the operators. The top 5 picked operators for ESL is Lion, 100% rounded up. What do you think
Oh
of
yeah,
that?
6, those 3 bars on Jackal, how many times you can scan feet.
What do you think?
Surprised at mine.
100%.
the feetsies.
Then Hibana, 71.4%. Thermite, 48.6%. Thatcher, 40%. Blitz, 34%. They're the 5 top picked. So obviously every other operator is less than 34% there. So Hibana and Thermite both next to each other. But a big difference, so 71% on Hibana. That's like 20% difference. Well, nearly 24% difference.
So 100% online is quite.
Yeah, it is a little lower. It's like 99.93 or something like that. But it's rounded because only like 2 rounds in the ESL so far he hasn't been played or something like that. And as defender, Mirror 97.1%.
That's not surprising at all.
Smoke 82.9 because he combos more. Jaeger 51.4.
Oh my god, how we got that I don't know.
Mission successful.
Pulse 37.1. Legion 37.1.
Surprising.
Ella's not on it. It's because Pulse is the new Ella now after the nerf. Pulse is the preferred fragger now because of Ella's nerf. I wonder if the pick for Pulse over Ella, I wonder if that's also something to do with like if you are roaming and you get a pick, you can see if your path ahead is somewhat clear when you're going to rotate.
Yeah, that's.
Do you know what I mean? Instead of getting caught out, because I assume we're seeing a bit more of a meta now where, because of Lion, the team will spread out a little more and create like a sort of like a claw to come down on each side of the objective. Get what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Like all the attacks will branch out a little more rather than sticking together quite as much. So I wonder if that's why Pulse is better utility-wise, because you can sort of check that his rotation is clear before he rotates. Instead of just running into a dude. And also maybe... Yeah. Well, also, Pulse is quite useful because he's one of the few operators that has a job to do while he's being Lion. Because as soon as you stand still, he can just sit there and get his scanner out and be like, oh, right, this room next to me where they could be pushing in from, I know there's no one in it, I just pulse it. So while I'm standing still in the Lion drone, I also know that no one's coming to push anyway. I wonder if that's the utility they go with.
Biohazard container.
It didn't work. Ready to wee.
Go for a wee. Right where you're sat, boy.
Haven't we got a gamer bucket?
Do not.
Oh, you clean that pro then, yeah.
Not a pro one.
One bar.
Only pros are gamer buckets. You have to be a license.
What colour is yours, Jax? Mine's blue.
Oh, my pea? Yellow. But yeah. I don't know what you were eating. No?
Yeah.
Banana in bar.
Oh, my gamer bucket is camouflage, so you can't see it. It looks like I'm peeing, and it's just going nowhere. It's just disappearing into the void. Magic, but. I wonder.
Nice, Six. Nice.
Holy shit, man.
I wonder, and if we'll ever see an operator in Siege as well. You know, Echo's drone, the way like when you stay still. No. You know, Echo's drone, like you stay still and it cloaks up. And if they'll ever do an operator that has a similar ability, like you stay still long enough and you sort of get like a sort of red. I wonder if they do ever do something like that.
I hope so.
I'd be quite interested in something like that. Because to be fair, you know, like the Echo drone, like
What about you,
I find it easy
about
because it has like a pulsing effect over the camouflage, which gives it away sometimes depending on where you place it. So they could have something similar, so it's not so powerful that you can't see it. Do you know what I mean? Like you make it so that if you're in a rush, if you run around the corner, you might have to take a second glance, maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I'd be quite interested in that because potentially, even if I was an attacker,
Nice,
so they could take a position on a rotation, place where it's got a common rotation would take place. And they could just sit there and in a panic drop it through a hatch or whatever. The guy would just get fucking rinsed anyway.
Yeah.
That'd be quite interesting.
We plan on making 100 operators. I'm sure that might get
Something close, some camouflage-esque technique
Yeah.
will probably take place. Yeah, it's true.
But I mean, if you think about it, we've already got it on the operator, the drones, and then you've got some of
Yeah.
the.
And a drone has it. You got an operator that can do it 2 drones with Vigil, innit?
Yeah, and then you've got Legion's
And
mines.
then you got Legion's mines that use the effect. But even Legion's mines, they don't have that pulse that the Echo
Dix,
has.
check
do
you
they?
out. You're fucking topboarding, man.
Fuck yeah, bro. That's what I'm about. I think it's
So-
the cameras, man, because everyone keeps scanning.
Barricade the room. We need to protect the biohazard container.
How's that make you feel, Dick? 6 is better than you already.
Right.
Not good enough. I still think I want like even though we're getting an operator now who has like hologram decoy type things.
Located the biohazard
I still want like an operator who can have like, you know, like when Ying fully charges his shock thing and it rolls across the floor, but it just does fucking footsteps instead. I still think that's like such a good idea that's
It
so
is, yeah.
simple. Do you know what I mean? Like the only thing that I can't imagine is I don't quite know how they get away with like the visuals. How do they make it look like it's making footstep noises?
What do you mean?
They come down up top by me.
That it looks like it's making.
Yeah, well, like I say, like I like the idea. When, you know, when Ying fully charges a shock and she puts it on the ground, it just rolls forward. It has like a momentum, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And it rolls. Like I like the idea of as it's rolling across the floor, like a little ball like that, it would do like footsteps if someone's running or walking, maybe, yeah, for the speeds. And I think that's like a perfect operator for Siege right now. Do you know what I mean? Like that's
agree.
That's such a simple.
What? Where was that
idea.
even
It's easy to
from?
grasp. It's an easy idea
One's
to
in my
understand.
trap.
Right?
I don't know which one.
But at the same time, all the gadgets, like, they need to make sense, like, within the game, even, don't they? So how does it make sense that a ball rolling across the floor would make footsteps? Like, how do you do that?
All right.
That makes sense, because...
Yeah, I know what you mean. Get the inside of a washing machine on the outside, solid.
It's like it's a washing machine drum, loads of shoes stuck to it. So he just rolls it down a corridor.
Oh my god, I wish this guy would get off this fucking camera.
Oh, maybe instead of actually making footprints.
Dix, I'm not sure if there's
Alongside
people
Rachel.
in behind you to the north.
Coming
Instead of
upstairs.
making actual footprint noises, it was like a little speaker bowl. I reckon that would work out. It's like a little speaker, like a little bowl speaker. So you still
Okay.
roll across the floor and it makes footstep noises. But what it could do is it could pick random material footsteps, so that's how you know if it was real or not. So now and again you might hear metal footsteps, but you're on theme park and there's no metal. Do you know what I mean? So you know up on the floor above you, a guy's rolling a decoy. Do you know what I mean? Now that might actually be a really good way to, if you figure out how to play against that guy, that would be the solution, wouldn't it? To be able to know when it's him or not. That might be quite cool because you know
It involved map knowledge, wouldn't it? Really?
yeah, because like I said,
I'd probably still fall for it because I have no map knowledge.
yeah. Well, obviously, even like to be fair, it could even be a scenario of sometimes you just get lucky. Do you know what I mean? And like you roll across a wooden floor and you get the wooden sound footsteps.
In kitchen behind you. Oh no, you're down low, sorry. In kitchen though.
Well, it might take a bit of balance in that though, to be honest.
But question.
It might just be better.
Question is, Orland,
Op 4, last
would he be an
operator standing.
attacker or a defender?
One's coming in northmost room by objective.
I feel like it would have utility on both sides.
I agree, yeah.
He's the last.
It's like Sledge though, it can work on both.
Yeah.
Just broke the thing open.
Yeah, I'd love to see it on both actually, to be honest.
Because tell me how cool it would be. Say on theme park, you were on the stairs above Drug Lab. You were like to the side of Drug Lab. You were on theme park on the stairs next to Drug Lab. You could go to the top of the stairs. You could roll your decoy drone towards the hatch and then run down the stairs to the door.
I need to go.
And they'd be all focused on the hatch because they just hear dum 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 dum. Do you know what I mean? Like going towards the hatch, like, oh, he's gonna drop in now, and then like a little fucking pokeball.
She's coming to the
oh
gate now.
shit! And they turn around, just fucking spraying.
15 seconds left.
I'm gonna direct message it's Epi on fucking Reddit.
You might do footsteps, or they also might do gunshots, you know, like a decoy or a
Yeah,
counter-strike.
that's where my original idea came from. I think like
Eliminated. Mission successful.
both would have been fine. I just think footsteps I found a bit more interesting when I was thinking about it, but I think both would work out. Because the thing I was thinking with you know, literally a decoy grenade from Counter-Strike. The reason that would work quite well is because you can use it to mask actual sounds.
MVP, dude.
6-1
Nice.
MVP, nice, good job.
Right, 6. That's an achievement.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, bro. Oh, thanks, man.
Right, let it be known to the whole of TeamSpeak that the 21st of March is Six's MVP day.
I'm writing this shit down.
Oh, now all of YouTube knows.
Wow, I'm gonna have so many fans.
I don't know why, Jax, but that just reminded me of, and this is our Independence Day.
We will not go quietly
What
into
though?
the night.
I'm
We're
gonna
not
take a
going
break
for the fight.
with that awesome victory. I need to calm down, you know.
Today is Sex's Independence Day.
Man, what a good speech. It was a good speech, wasn't it?
I'm back, but I'm gonna come off for a bit.
I like Valka things so far the best.
Yeah, Valk's pretty good, man.
Haven't really tried all of them, but yeah, so far Valk is really nice.
I recommended this to Steve 6 that sometimes you don't want to go there all the time because if you're sitting on your cams too much, you become reliant on cameras.
Oh no, I just throw them out so my team can do shit.
Oh,
and
right,
give
okay.
me points. You know what I mean?
You don't actually look on them yourselves.
Well, I look to position them because when you throw them, they're looking.
Yeah. That's fine, as long as you don't sit on them. Because when we first started playing with Steve, he was just playing Valkyrie.
Yeah,
and
he'd end up being like
Echo.
last guy alive because he's just sat in the corner doing twat all, just on a camera, just shouting stuff to people who are dead.
Also, like, you know, if you just sat on your cameras all the time, if you ever play a different character, you don't play well because you become too reliant on your cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to get into that habit. But, you know, when you get better at the game and stuff, you learn a bit more. It's alright to go Valkyrie from time.
What do you mean? But I'm already the best at the game. I was just MVP.
That's true.
No, I mean, there's no. You can't
Wait,
go
alright,
down
sorry.
from here.
When
This
you
is the
when you
highest.
maintain your professionalness.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Need to find the hostage.
Yeah, no, not.
That wasn't them.
Whatever the guy is on the fence with the drone, the Echo or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
It's a bit shame that his drone can't mark, so you have to like literally call out.
Well, that's why. Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be
think
fair-
it would be a little bit overpowered if you could.
Well, do you know all those six? When I play as Echo, while I do try feeding as much useful information as I do back to everyone, if anything, I use it quite selfishly in that I'll put her in a position that's very likely not to get shot, and I don't actually use the concussive burst. So what I'll do is I'll put it like around the corner from myself or down a corridor. So when I know someone's approaching my position, I'll get off the drone, I'll peek the corner, just spritz them a little bit, and then they'll probably be dead. And then I just get back on the drone, and I just sit back in my little corner of safety and just
Makes a
sit back
lot
on
of
the drone.
noise as well, so it's a good distraction.
It does. But like I said, but the important, I think, for a lot of scenarios as well, it's important to keep the drone alive, which is why I barely use the actual passive path. Because the drone, even after you die, once you die, or if you die as Echo, you are the only player on your team that can access that camera, and you can just turn it on the spot, and that's it. So then it becomes like a camera that's half invisible to the enemies, and only you can see with this. So you have to like shout out like all the calls and stuff.
Also, as well, Six, when you maintain your goodness, your professionalness, right, and not to mark, you tend to use more vocals rather
Yeah,
than...
yeah. Because as soon as you get marked, what's the first thing you do when
Otherwise
you're
it's
attacking? You get
black.
marked. Start looking around for the camera. Don't look for the camera. You see a fucking red dot, and you lay it out.
Yeah, and I guess eventually if you're playing like mates on TeamSpeak and you're all, as good as I am, you don't even need to mark. You can just say where they are.
Yeah. And to be fair, there are times where marking is fine. Do you know what I mean? Like if they're pushing in on the objective really hard, like there's like 3 of them all piled up on a doorway, you can give a bit of a mark end sometimes because they'll either ignore the camera or you've given so much information that camera is okay to be gone at the moment. I mean, because you've got more bigger things to worry about because 3 guys are running on site. I mean, there are scenarios where marking is fine, or if you've got a camera, if you've got visions on someone who is planting a bomb, you can mark them while they're planting a bomb as well, because normally they'll either ignore the camera mark or they'll be too worried about listening for footprints.
See, shit like this is what makes the game awesome. Tactical.
The hostage location is compromised. Get ready.
it's called. It says you can throw those thingies as flashbangs, which is
Yes.
fucking awesome. But it says you can attach them to surfaces. How do you
Yeah,
do that?
yeah. So when you approach like a barricaded door, window, or like a soft wooden wall, it's a similar thing to like fuse. Like when she holds her like grenade or whatever, she holds it in front of her face, doesn't she? But when you approach a surface, she can stick it to. She'll turn her hand around to face like the surface, and when you let the button go, then she presses it against the wall, and it pops out exactly the same as like a fuse grenade,
Oh, and it shoots them inwards.
and it shoots them into the room then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can use that to like flash yourself into the objective. And obviously, because if you just broke a hole in the window and threw it through, if they had a Jaeger, it would destroy the grenade mid-air. You know what I mean? But if you flash it on, if you put it on the wall and shoot it in, I don't think Jaeger can take it out past 10. It can, but it's only 2.
I'm gonna see what those dudes are up to.
Hey.
Fun gaming. See you guys later.
Hey, eat poop. Eat poop. Eat shit.
Channel.
Is it a Twitch channel?
Op 4 has the hostage. Op 4 lost the hostage. Mission failed. All friendlies have been neutralized.
I just played a lot. Because I was playing like 6-7 hours a day every day. I was finding it easier and easier to get frustrated by stupid deaths and fucking getting cheated by the game. So I thought if I just take a couple of days off, have a nice little reset, and come back nice and fresh. Yeah. Just try to be sensible sometimes. Just take a break when I feel like I need it.
Need to locate the hostage.
What are you fighting yourself for?
The chair was fighting me. Somebody in yours?
One friendly operator remaining. All friendlies have been eliminated.
It is.
That's why I choose it.
Secure the room. We need to protect the biohazard container. Or drone has found a biohazard. Down to 10 seconds.
Going on.
No, it's
Container at all.
shit.
He's connected to the channel.
User has disconnected from your channel. This sucks.
I'm playing WoW. I think everybody in my group, I'm playing a certain class. I'm playing a
The prostitutes class, yeah.
I'm playing a in the chat, and now I got this guy constantly messaging me.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Oh, for God's sake, good. It is not females class, okay.
Oh, actually, thinking about when I said it, the prostitute class, I was watching these guys playing Dark Souls. Oh, Bloodborne. I was watching these guys playing Bloodborne, right? And just for the sake of this bit, right? Are you familiar with George Romero's zombies from like Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead, etc., etc.?
I think I may have seen.
Yeah. Well, the main idea that you need to understand is in Dawn of the Dead, which is I think the original classic one, we're in the shopping centre, yeah, that some of the zombies in Romero's version of the zombies, when they're not like chasing people, like they don't smell any food like meat nearby, a lot of them, they still have like memories from when they were human, where so like some of them are just walking around shops and looking at stuff.
Yeah.
And they don't realise they're doing it, but it's like a little part of their true self from before they were undead is sort of still there somewhere. So they carried on doing what they did after they died to a certain extent. And there was a bit in Bloodborne where they send a character who he was like a cannibal, and every time when you see him, he's like squatted over some bodies that he's munching on, and you catch him and like he tries playing it off like he wasn't just eating bodies, right? And you send him to this place and he gets turned into like some weird alien. There's some experiment shit going on, right? And they send him to this place, and then they go and visit the place. They're like, oh, look at this round the corner, this like alien guy. Can you notice what he's doing? He's crouching. And they're like, oh, but we sent that guy who was crouching, yeah, and now there's like an alien that's doing the same thing. He's like, yeah, this guy's obviously been turned into an alien, and he's doing what he was doing, before. And where they sent him to this building, there's a different place they could send him to safety, not for experiments. And there's a woman who was like some kind of like prostitute was there, and the guy was like, so if we sent the prostitute here, because in the other place they send her, she sits in a chair, like she's the only one out of all of them who sits in like a proper chair. So he started going, he was like, so if we sent the prostitute here, and the one of them cuts in and goes, she'd be sacking everyone off. Like out of nowhere. I was like, oh no. and the one who cut in his head, it was fucking Gav Murphy, who was a fucking Welsh lad from Ponty. I was like, it would be a fucking guy from Ponty, say it. Fucker. He's always on about fucking. He's like one of those Welsh people, because he lives in London now, obviously to work and stuff for IGN UK. Because he lives in London now, he's like super like patriotically Welsh. Right. Like they're playing Dark Souls, and at some point, like the camera positions itself, they're looking over some beautiful, snowy mountain landscape. He's like, oh, it's like Wales. Like all the time. Or like there's one character on the first Dark Souls where you talk to him. He goes, I'm Shemai, and he goes, did you say Shemai? Like Welsh? And they go, yeah. He says, see, I knew you'd like this guy. And then he looks at the camera and he looks like a fucking 4-year-old kid. He's like, like as if he'd just seen Spider-Man, like a 4-year-old kid or something. He's like, oh, he's got like a face on. Oh, he's fucking great. And he was telling a story once. He was like, oh, so I went on a date with this girl that I really fancied in school, he says, right? And we went to the cinema and watched 8 Mile. This is what he said. Obviously, he's like in his 30s. So we went to cinema and we watched 8 Mile, he said, and we was really into it. But a couple of times I sort of like tried putting my arm around her and sort of going in for a bit of a sort of kiss, and she didn't seem to be having none of it. Like he said, I was talking to her after we got up with the film. I went to sort of lean over and give her a bit of a kiss after the film, and he said, she turned to me and just said, oh no, I've sort of come to realise I don't really like you, like blah blah blah. I'd rather not like keep going like this. Do you know what I mean? Like right. All right, if we know each other, or whatever. But yeah, and he said, oh yeah, I found out later that night. She went out up to a park, a local park. We had a bit of a drink and wanked 2 boys off on a bench. I was like, it sounds like South Wales, actually. Wow. I said I could probably tell people a couple of stories like that from people that I know. I was like, because that was before I knew he was from Ponty area. I was like, he's definitely South Wales, because I don't know where in Wales he was from. I was like, definitely South Wales. Story like that, talking about girls wanking boys off in a park.
100% sounds like that's Wales, especially in Merthyr.
Yeah.
That is under that 100%.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was now. There was a school. A skull. Gavin.
Secure the room. We need to protect the biohazard container. Op 4 located the biohazard.
Blackwood. Yeah, that's the school he went to when he was a kid. In Blackwood it was.
I'm gonna Blackwood as well.
A skull Gavin come run me.
Yeah, that's literally like 5% of it.
I've obviously I've been to Blackwood. I went to a very local school to me. Right, I didn't know where Cumrumney was. Right, you heard of him. When I checked and seen it was Blackwood, I was like, I've probably seen the school at some point. I've been to Blackwood before, so I've probably seen it.
Yeah.
5 seconds left.
That's where he went to school when he was a kid. So somewhere around that area is where he would have lived. And he played for Pontypridd rugby team at some point as well. He's fucking mental. And at some point they were playing the game, and like his job, the Welsh guy's job in like this series, there's like the guy who's playing has never played like Dark Souls or these kind of like hardcore games. The other guy who's with him, Daniel, is like he's played them all and he's like super familiar with all like the really vague story they're trying to tell, but you need to piece it together.
Yeah.
Like he's super familiar with it all. Like he knows most of what there is to know about it, and he's drawn his own conclusions because that's how the game sort of leaves it up to you. And then Gavin's just there to be there, like as a third guy, so he does like a lot of banter, but so he's always just telling some stories, like that fucking park bench story and shit like that. And what was the fucking thing? He was telling a story once. He was like, right, here's one for you. What are the Welsh the best job? Like, what have the Welsh always been known as the best of a certain, I'll say, profession? He was saying, right? He was trying to get around to like, and they were like actors. He said, no, it's a good guess, not quite, no. Singers, no, not quite, but we have got some very good talent in Wales. You know, he's like, it's all this shit. Like, they go, I don't know, come on, what is it? Pirates.
Why?
He said Wales have got the most famous and the most successful pirates, or like they did have like years ago or whatever. And then one of them went, I don't think they really sort of like announced their earnings. So how would you judge how successful a pirate is then? He was like, they were like picking holes in it. He was like, pirate. I was like, that's dude. Just love pirates, man. And then one of the boss fights, Chris, he got totally wrecked by the guy who's playing the game. Because the guy who's playing the game, he's Welsh. The one who knows the game really well and is sort of directing the other guy, he's English. And the other guy's like Irish, but with a bit of American in him. He's lived in America for a couple of years. He's an Irish-American. And the guy was playing, they get into a boss fight, and the name of the boss pops up on the health bar, Gaping Dragon. He goes, "Dude, Gav, didn't know your mum was in this game." See the fucking other look on his face. He was like, "You fucking what?" He had that look like if he weren't filming for a YouTube series, he would have said something like, "You fucking what, you cheeky cunt." Do you know what I mean? It was one of those faces. It was like, oh my fucking god, he had me. It was fucking so funny. It was like, it just came out of nowhere as well. Gav, I didn't know your mum was in this game. Gaping Dragon.
Do they still do this series then?
At the moment, I don't know if they're on a break. I don't know if they just finished a series at the moment. They've done loads at this point. I started watching them in the first series of Dark Souls. But they've done Dark Souls 1, they did a complete playthrough. Like, obviously the guy, through sheer, like, just keep trying, and he finishes the game. Then they did Dark Souls 3, they've done a small series on Resident Evil 1, like the remake of the original. They've done Cuphead as well. Bloodborne, they've done Bloodborne as well. Like they've done quite a few series at this point now, and at the moment I think they fill in their timing, because originally the only way to watch their videos was to fucking go and watch it on IGN, and I was like, I am not subscribing to IGN's shitty YouTube channel for one series. But because it's been really popular, lots of people going and subscribing and saying, you were literally the only reason I subscribed to IGN. IGN have given them the go ahead now to open their own YouTube channel. Yeah. So now that they've got their own YouTube channel, they're trying to do like weekly or fortnightly videos, even if some of them are just like, oh, here's just an hour of us playing a game that people say is Dark Souls like, you know, just a game that's just hard for the sake of being hard and you have to really learn how to play. So they've been doing stuff like that recently. I really enjoyed the Resident Evil playthrough. I've started watching it recently and I'm about halfway through already. There's only 6 episodes.
Resident Evil, like, I really did that. Resident Evil. I remember I played the 5th one?
Yes, the one where you're in like Africa, is it?
Yeah.
That was probably like one of the first ones where I proper played, like when I was younger, so it was a couple of years ago now,
Yeah.
And I think that was the first one I ever proper like sat down with the intention of like, I'm gonna sit down and I'm just gonna play through a Resident Evil. I don't think I'd ever really bothered before. But I think that was like the first Resident Evil. Oh no, it was the second Resident Evil that ever had like a proper camera as well on it, because the old ones were fixed cameras. Whereas 4 and 5, and obviously everyone after 4, was third person over the shoulder. They have quite a funny moment in the Resident Evil one, actually, because it's the first Resident Evil that they did a remaster of, and because it is fixed cameras, so as they're walking down a corridor, like his guy will go just out of view and the camera will flick. There's a point where he's being chased by a zombie in a corridor and he fucking keeps moving the analog stick in such a way that he keeps flicking between 2 camera angles. Like, oh my god, get out! He's like, I'm fucking stuck. This guy should be worse. Because he couldn't fucking, because I've always hated, you know, games used to do like when I was a kid, and I used to hate games like that. The fucking fixed perspectives, because it's like, it's right when the perspective changes, the controls go weird then, don't they? Because you're pointing in a direction that's not the direction you want to be going.
Yeah.
But if you're ever looking for like a sort of reasonably long series of videos to watch, Chris, you should go look them up.
Yeah, I quite like the funny commentary.
Yeah, well, actually, like
Skyrim one.
Yeah. I think it works so well as well because there's 3 of them and they are quite entertaining in general. Like each of them all are quite entertaining anyway. So having the 3 of them, and they're all able to bounce off each other in interesting ways.
Yeah.
And over time, it's only gone better because in the original series, they knew each other at work, but not like really well. So obviously, over time, they've got to know each other closer and closer to be good muckers or whatever. So it just gets better over time. And it was pretty good from the fucking start, to be honest.
Yeah, I can remember I used to watch this. I can't remember what the YouTube channel was called. I can't remember. It's somewhere on my channel. But they did like a Skyrim series.
Yeah.
Oh, I used to crack me up. They had a thing for do you know the cat people that used to smoke skooma?
Yes, yeah.
And they used to like, obviously that was like their beam. Whenever they saw skooma, they were like skooma brain. And they'd have like all like highlights and like funny videos pop up on the screen.
Nice.
Oh, I used to crack it up. So yeah, I do like those.
It reminds me of do you know Sips? You familiar with Sips?
Sips, no. Never
he's a guy. He's a member of the Yogscast, but he does like the least Minecraft out of all of them because he got bored of it a long time ago.
That's probably why then.
Right.
Yeah. Well, obviously that's what I started watching them all for back when I used to play. But over time, I sort of stopped caring about most of the other videos. But Sips obviously does his own channel, even though he's part of the Yogscast, and he was the first one out of all of them to just go, I've just played it too much at this point, I can't keep fucking playing it.
Yeah,
so he sort of just went off and he started doing like a bunch of shit on his own anyway, and he did a series of fucking Skyrim, but then I think he did about 120 episodes, and he's just on his own, just a guy on his Todd, like. But that was a fucking funny series of Skyrim. Like some of the jokes and some of the stupid shit that was coming up in that show was fucking awesome. Yeah. Like there was like he does that thing where like he makes really close bonds to the characters in the game because he's on his own. So like his horse, he named his horse Gertrude. And he's like, come on Gertrude, we're going on an adventure. And on one episode, you know in Skyrim where you can like build a house on the DLC?
Yeah.
He like builds a house, he fucking goes inside and he starts building all shit inside the house. He's like getting really happy with himself. He's like, oh, I've got a really nice house coming along, yeah? And he's like decorating it all by hand with the fucking shitty physics system. And he walks outside and a fucking dragon's out there outside his house and it fucking swoops past and the horse glitches on top of the dragon's head and it just flies off of the horse. And he's like, Gertrude, no! He's like shouting.